Member Spotlight. I am so glad to be here today with my new friend Monica. We actually just met for the first time very recently, and we want to welcome her to our worshiping community. And we're here today to talk about a women's ministry that she started in Franklin, Kentucky.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Beth, yeah, we did just meet, and I do believe it's, just how things kind of fall apart when you're planning something and then things come together. So I was looking for some ministry or worship help for the event, and I ended up connecting with SOKY worship group as well as some of the other Facebook groups. So thank you once again. But as far as the ministry, it's called Fathered Daughters. It started back in 2013, around September 2013, and began as a prayer ministry. The Lord gave me a word that He wants to equip His daughters in prayer, and to bring us to a place not just of petitioning, but just a place of relationship, a place of worship, a place of connection. So we started, I think it was about 13, maybe 12 or 13 women within those few months between September and December, where we would pray once a week, every Tuesday. Had a lot of ministry friends from Montgomery, Alabama, where I lived before. Some people here in the Bowling Green area, a friend in Nashville. We would just get on this prayer line, and we would pray. And God would always sort of give an exhortation or a word to just guide us through. And the beautiful thing about that season and really the birthing of the ministry is that it teaches you about, God's movement and how He'll bring the right people at the right time and will give you the right word for those that are there. So each week it was just so perfectly knit together where, whatever God gave me to share, it directly affected and was necessary for the women on the line that night. So we saw a lot of breakthrough. We saw a lot of even healings. We saw just a lot of people, a lot of women opening up in more vulnerable places, in vulnerable ways, to hear the Lord. And it's important that we provide safe places, for each other, for men and women of God, so that we can get to that deeper place, that intimacy, that God requires, but it's a requirement of our benefit.
Yes.
Amen.
Isn't that amazing?
Amen.
No, it's so funny when you were talking just now, like the word in my mind was healing.
Amen.
Like I could just see that happening when you were talking about it.
So the birthing of the ministry was just that. Even healing for me, bring me to a place of deeper understanding of what it means to have a spiritual father. And just to get into like the direct meaning and connections with the meaning of or the name of the ministry, Fathered Daughters. It's based on 2 Corinthians 6:18. It says, basically, I'll be a father to you. Basically. And I remember asking the Lord, and I shared this. We had an event last month, July 22nd. We had our event. It was beautiful. But before that, I remember asking the Lord, God, I see that people just have these functional lives. They've got parents. They've got, even 2 dogs, brothers and sisters. They seem to be doing okay. But the Lord really hit on the fact that that's fine, but it doesn't matter if you're from a perfectly functional family, a dysfunctional family. They did not create you. I created you.
That's so good.
So because I created you, there are things I know about you that your mother and father will never know. So he basically just laid that upon my heart as an invitation. I want to be a father to you.
And that's so amazing because that means our ultimate identity doesn't come from the family of origin that we come from. Ultimately, our identity comes from our Creator.
Amen.
Even though those things undoubtedly shape us and affect us, but they cannot tell us who we are forever.
Yeah, and that
good or bad.
Amen. And that common thread, that universal thread of God that we all need and we all have because we come from Him.
Beautiful.
Right. So even with the word father, to father means to give, protective care, special care. And that's what God wishes to do in our lives, through the good, through the bad, the ups, the downs, even in that middle place of waiting, that meanwhile, amen, or the meantime, God wants to be that protective and guiding force in our lives. So that's our ministry, how we started, and really where we are right now.
So you are planning on doing this every summer.
Yes.
So the next one coming up will be next July.
It will be hopefully next July or August, depending, of course, on scheduling, all those, practical, logistical, fun things. But definitely next year. It's called Relationship Summer Series. And this summer, the Lord had us focus on single women. And the beautiful part about the event, the Lord told me, He said, create for me an altar. I'm like, okay, an altar for sacrifice or what? You know how we do.
Yeah.
But the Lord said, no, create an altar like a wedding. Because it wasn't until maybe the few days before that He gave me the rest of the plan. He wanted us to present to Him. And there was a whole section of the meeting where we had masks. A friend of mine does a thing with masks, behind the mask, coming to a place of realization of the truth of what we're dealing with and what we're facing. But the Lord had us use those masks, and we cut them up. We took all the parts that weren't true about our identity or who we are, and He wanted us to bring them to the altar so that we could be reunited with our first love. Not with the first not with the things, the labels that the world gives us or that we give ourselves. He wanted us to lay those at the altar, and we did. And it was a precious moment where you just felt this reuniting of daughters with their father. Amen.
Amazing.
So, who knows what next year will be? I'm excited.
I know. I'm excited too. Like, I want to go.
Yeah,
I want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I do believe, as God further pushes us, that it will be expanded, and I know that, God can be so specific in His dealings with us. Who knows what it could be next year? But it could be something general for all women, and, maybe more breakout type of sessions or something like that. But we're excited to see what God does.
So if people are interested, how can they get information about this event and this ministry? Because do you check in with people during?
We do.
I mean, you're still like praying during the year, and you have other maybe meetings and things like that.
Well, more so because I don't live in Kentucky. I don't live in America currently, but kind of over a few continents or a couple of them. But we, of course, have our social media presence: Facebook, Father Daughters.
Okay, so you have a Facebook page.
Yes, look for our Facebook page, Instagram. And then our website is fathereddaughters.com. FATHERED daughters.com.
Fathereddaughters.com.
Yes. So that's how you can find us. And I try to update as often as possible. And it's really just, we're developing it into a platform of just sharing, just to be open and to share maybe some words. I do a blog. And I still have this, the blog up from last month because I feel it's such a profound word that God wants people, His daughters, even His sons, wants us to get. Yeah. So that'll be up probably through August.
Oh, I want to go read it.
Yeah, please do. It's about the butterfly, right? And that ended up being our sort of our theme at the event. So we'll have our blog. I have something called a prayer garden. I believe that should be up. I've had some technical issues getting all that to get on properly. But we have a prayer garden, and then just, of course, our about info sort of things. And then there's links to the social media outlets as well.
Oh, great. Good. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming today and for sharing all of that with us. And I just cannot wait to get this information out to our community and make some connections with you guys and continue supporting each other because that's why we exist.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.